This is chapters 126 to 130 of 14 Ways to Die. 126. I stay awake all night while the image of Mr. Collins' last victim goes viral, people sharing it for fun, creating memes they laugh at because it's what they do. Some of them have photoshopped me wearing my Alive t-shirt next to her. I did this. I tried to be clever and he outsmarted me. He might be caught now, but people will remember his message and they'll blame me. I started this wanting to remind everyone of his crimes, to bring him back into the public consciousness. But is that exactly what he wanted too? Was he enjoying being famous again? Was he getting worse to stay relevant? I feel disgusted that he was there the whole time, teaching me, taunting me. Whenever I think my tears have run dry, they come again, and I don't even try to wipe them away. I imagine the left behind, a group that has only got bigger since I started this. As they sat quietly wrapping grief stories in my backyard, I saw how worn down they were, still alive, still fighting, but missing the vital part that made their smiles sparkle and their eyes shine. Whenever the conversation stopped, the silence hung so heavily around their necks, the unspoken horror of losing a daughter or sister or wife etched deeply into their faces. And now there are more, a 15th family, and how can they not blame me? The image of all of us in those t-shirts accompanies every single report. What Mr. Collins did to her only makes sense because of us. I was so proud of that picture. Now I can't bring myself to look. 127. My nightmares are collages of corpses and newspaper clippings. There are faces, both dead and alive, and numbers carved into the bodies of everyone I know. Sing-song taunts rip through my ears like razor blades. One for sorrow, two for joy. Every night I dream of Mr. Collins, his hands held tightly behind his back, and when I reach for whatever he's hiding, he disappears. Then he's looming over me, and the crowd from that day closes in, pushing us together until I'm swallowed by the hands I can't untangle. I dream of Mr. Humphreys and his stolen son, the boy who died before he could be anything, then Lorna Banks' little boy, broken and pleading for the justice I found too late. Sometimes I dream of Bernie, unconscious on her bed at Mayfield Lodge, and then Reg breathes her back to life, and she becomes my mom, sitting bolt upright, forcing me awake. Other times, I'm in a room full of Polaroid pictures, lines of murders hanging on the walls like a sick exhibition. At the end of every nightmare, I wake up screaming, my sheets soaked in sweat, my room full of shadows that continue the story until I blink them away. The fear comes first, then the realization, and finally the guilt. 128. I'm ignoring calls from Ross and Danny, but Hannah and Emily force their way into my house, past Sarah and the other reporters. The media shout and shove and aim their cameras at the gap in the door because I'm suddenly newsworthy again. My teacher killed my mother, and that's a story everyone wants. It's ridiculous out there, Hannah says. Emily says, I kicked one in the shin just for you. She tries to smile, but it quickly falls from her face when she realizes I'm not in the mood. It's not your fault, Hannah says, but I can't even pretend to believe her this time, because it is my fault. I wore the t-shirt, I made the statement, and he responded like only he can. It is, I say. He did it all for me. I called him pathetic, and he reminded me what he's capable of. And then you caught him. But he was there all along. I looked him in the eye every fucking day. How stupid am I? You're not stupid. He tricked everyone. But I always thought I would know the moment I saw him. I shake my head until the tears fall hard and fast, and then I'm sobbing so loudly that my two best friends don't know what to do. I catch them looking at each other, sending silent signals, wondering how to react. Have I finally broken like Dad did? Are they deciding whether to fix me or let me fall apart? Then they smother me in a four-armed hug with me wrapped in the middle. Eventually, when today's tears have run dry and my stomach aches, Hannah says, we're here, and Emily squeezes me every chance she gets. But I'm focusing on something else. He tricked a lot of people. That's what Hannah said. He taught for years, and he tutored fifth graders. So what if Clara knew? What if that was what she was too scared to tell me? If she saw something, she could be a witness who ensures he's locked up forever. 129. I stand at the bus stop trying to ignore the reporters throwing questions at me and the photographers sticking their lenses in my face. Only Sarah stands back, but she can't stop the others from harassing me for a comment. They want to know how I feel, like it's that easy. I feel all over the place. I feel confused and angry and scared, because catching him and locking him up forever are not the same thing. Hey, someone shouts again, and Jamie barges his way through the crowd, stands in front of me, and says, fuck off. The reporters don't move. Some ask him questions and others act like he's not there. But when he starts swinging at them, kicking out at anyone close, they step back until they're on the opposite side of the road. Thanks, I say. Jamie shrugs. Don't mention it. He stands with me until the bus comes, then gets on and says, Where are we going? Clara's house. She knew it was Mr. Collins before I did. I think she has the evidence that can end this for good. 1:30. The driveway is empty, and a quick look through Clara's patio doors seemed to say no one is inside. I knew she'd be at school, but I hoped one of her parents might be home. If I can explain, if they realize how important Clara is to convicting Mr. Collins, they could bring her home early. But I'll wait all day if I have to. Clara didn't want to speak to me last time, but she must know we've caught him now. She doesn't need to be scared anymore. I move to the front of the house and stare into the living room, but all I can make out is a TV and a fireplace and some photo frames, and that's when I see it, only it can't be. I jump back, then hold my hands against the glass and peer inside. What the fuck? What is it? Jamie asks, and I pull him around the side of the house. I need to get in. Now? Yes, now. Have you ever broken into somewhere before? Jamie shakes his head. I don't think we should, he mumbles, but he doesn't know what I saw. Please, I whisper, you said I was brave. Now I need us to be brave together. We have to get in there. He shakes his head, mutters something under his breath, then starts walking around the backyard, looking under flower pots. On TV, people always hide their keys somewhere, he says. I don't know why he likes me so much to follow my wild ideas, but I'm glad he does. He gets up and goes back to staring through the windows. Gently tapping on the patio doors, Jamie says, We're not getting through these. He tries the back door before checking the garage, which thankfully is unlocked, and coming out with a crowbar. Are you sure? He asks, and I steady my breathing. Yes. Will you tell me why? You'll see for yourself in a minute, I whisper. Then, when he doesn't move, I know this is foolish, but is it more foolish than chasing Michael down the street with a hammer or stopping those bullies? I'm not as brave as you think I am. I need your help. Jamie listens for a moment, then puts the crowbar in the gap between the door and the frame and pulls. The paint is cracking and it looks old compared to the rest of the house, but as much as Jamie tries, it doesn't open. Just when I think he's going to give up, he says, Kick it. What? When I yank, you kick hard. Not the glass part, obviously. Aim low. Won't that be noisy? Jamie shrugs. Do you want to get in or not? For a second, I think maybe I don't, because I'm scared of what I'll find on the other side of the door. But I nod and say, Okay. Jamie pulls. Now, he says, and I kick, then again, and the third time I hear a crack and the door swings open. We pause, waiting for someone to come and investigate, but no one does. We stare at the doorway that leads into the kitchen. I watch Jamie, and for the first time since we met, he looks genuinely scared. We could still leave, and no one would know it was us, but I step forward, the smell of an unfamiliar house hitting me harder than it ever has before. The house is quiet, too quiet, just the hum of a huge fridge and the sound of birds singing coming through the broken back door. I leave Jamie in the kitchen and go straight to the living room, and there she is, staring at me from a family portrait. Bernie. I feel dizzy and sit heavily on the sofa. I stare at the photo, at Bernie smiling that perfect fake smile as she stands with her mother, stepdad, and Clara. It's the same look I saw in the hospital and on her first day back at school after Mayfield Lodge. She wasn't happy then, and she isn't happy in the image her new family has chosen to show the world. Next to her, Bernie's mom has the same smile, while her stepdad looks straight-lipped and serious. I don't understand what's happening, and when Jamie comes in, he sees what I'm staring at and says, Isn't she in your class? I nod, unable to speak. None of this makes sense. Bernie left Doveton after her mother married her boyfriend. She moved to Harmony. She moved here. But that still doesn't explain Clara's phone call. I think back to our walk, when Bernie talked about her little sister, her half-sister. What now? Jamie asks, but the room is spinning and I can't reply. Part of me wants to stay until Bernie comes home to find out what the hell is going on, but we shouldn't be here, and yet I can't shake the feeling that something's not right. We should check upstairs, I say, and as we walk into the hall, a noise behind us makes me jump, and I swear we've been caught. Jamie's eyes go wide with terror, then just as quickly he sniffs and smiles. He looks down and picks up an air freshener, whispers motion sensor, and then after another deep breath, Bali, sandalwood, and jasmine. I stare at him and he says, "My mom loves these things." I should smile because this is typical Jamie, making light of dark situations, but my heart is pounding, and I can't get the image of Bernie out of my head. He sniffs again, then he walks upstairs and I follow. Clara's bedroom looks a lot like mine. Her parents' is neat and tidy, and the third bedroom, Bernie's, is almost empty. I know it's hers because her school books are on the floor. One small dresser stands in the corner and an unmade bed, but nothing else. While Jamie goes into her parents' bedroom, I head straight for Clara's, doing my best to put Bernie out of my mind. I open Clara's desk drawers and our bedside table, but there's no diary, no laptop, nowhere that a name could be written in secret. I think back to when I was 10, trying to figure out where I would bury something so big, but there's nothing here. When I've looked everywhere, I go back to Bernie's room. I can't help myself. If Clara knows something, maybe her sister does too. But that's when I notice Bernie's bedroom door. There are dents on the outside. The wood caved in and splintered. "Jamie," I say, "I think we should leave." I reach out and touch the door, the paint coming away in clumps, like someone has put their fist through it, and when I look closer, the hinges are bent and there are more dents in the bottom. The rest of the house is immaculate, but this looks like a battleground. I feel my chest tighten and back away, then turn and walk into the main bedroom where Jamie is quickly moving from drawer to closet and everywhere in between. "What are you doing?" I ask. "Looking for clues. If Clara knows Mr. Collins, maybe her parents do too." "No, we should go." Who smashes up someone's bedroom door? No one good. No one whose house we should be breaking into. Jamie starts going through the dirty clothes basket, reaching into the pockets of trousers and jeans and pulling out whatever he can find. "Come on," I say, but he's holding something out to me with a strange look on his face. "What is it?" "Where was the last murder?" he asks. "Sheffield." "You should see this receipt," he says. "Look at the address." It takes me a while to find it, but when I do, I gasp. It's from a supermarket at Sheffield. At 3:14, the morning after someone carved dead into the 15th victim, Bernie's stepdad bought a coffee near the crime scene. He paid in cash, but he kept the receipt. "It wasn't Mr. Collins," I say. "It was him."